Sanbonani, Abusheni Ndara. I'm your host, Mr. Cedric. Abansebambambija Kabumukhata, Seklogolo, Pesabatwana. Welcome yet to another episode of Indoda Iyakhala. Always as you see me on your screens, you must know that actually I've got someone else, also Kulima naye to bring the story. We'd like to thank you, for your numbers. The numbers are doing good. We thank you guys. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for engaging us. We thank you a lot. We'd like to pass that gratitude. Thank you a lot. It's one of actually our editors. So this is a special edition anyway, So, Bapuda Gujan.
Sure.
Yeah. Introduce yourself, to the viewers at home.
Yeah, I come mina Muspusiso, I'm seeing me. Really for stories, I never knew what I'll be a creative one of the good days being around cameras like this, But I knew whenever I took the course here, graphic design, because I started after matric, I started with graphic design, So that's why I saw my creativity there, and looking at the Lonyaging Outata now, because I matriculated to 2002. In 2003, I had to go to graphic design, but it was not my first choice, of course, because of the families that, dictate you on how you need to live. Somehow it cost us as individuals, So, yeah, I decided to my first choice, I like researching. I'm a very good storyteller. And I wanted to go to into philosophy and something is on Lincoln into and stuff. That was the course that was on my mind, So I had to make my A game on maths, because astrology will require me to have a game in maths, But it never turned like that, because of some other issues that I got through them cooler, I'll just break down the story in short, just because my story is a very long story. That is why at the moment I'm turning my story into a film, so that even though I'm gonna shorten it in a film, but I want it to tell a depth about my life, So, yeah, mina ngikhulile kabomamami, shothi mangizalele ikhaba yami iwele kabomamami, and la ikhoza ojwayele ukungithatha khona never time you pick us in a crew. I think we crew yonke yakhe elalini. Dangihlala noMagriza mfethu umama kamama. That is a special woman that I still have, in my life, because ubekezela whatever, ngumfana ngisafuna ukufila i-lifestyle yangaphandle. Obviously I will have some mistakes nyana yabona ukuthi nami ngiphume maybe yobheka life yangaphandle. So uMagriza is a very strict woman, thanda izinto zakhe zibe straight. So I'm trying to, get into that tune, whatever I'm tuning ngayo. I'm always there, So, ngiyenzakala ukuthi ngikhulele lapha kumagogo. I'm not sure what made that decision ukuthi ngiyohlala kabo baba. And ngithe mangiyohlala kabo baba bami, mangabonisa ama-report wami, I'll make means ukuthi my primary reports nyawa scan and ngofaka part where documents.
You still have them?
Yes, and wow. They were kept by my grandmother.
This man is a story.
My report was in primary.
Early 90s here.
Yes.
Jeez. So you're still having the reports from 90s?
Obviously, and those reports are kept by my grandmother,
Jeez.
Kept by my grandmother. Ukokwami is a historian like me. Actually, I wanted to use a term which I'm an activist, but it won't suit me, because activists sometimes get a bullet, for speaking for people. So me, what I say, I call myself a historian because I end up being a history student, when I switched school, on the story, I'll just touch it a bit in my schoolwork, So I took time to understand the story. I felt like that's where all the things I'm a vision being now, as a young man, started to change because of dictator, Kabo Mamam, it's not a family that everybody took seriously after umalume wami, who was a well-known artist for the group, eyaphumuletheka la lokushini, oyi-drummist, you know, passed away. So wabonakala kuyifamily engana direction, you know, akusekho umuntu ufaka i-income, ngakho bekusaphila ukhokho wami at that time, umakhokho bekasebenza kahandla, you know. So uyimbe kuyi-breadwinner, you know, at that time. Until ukhokho wami kuyenzakala ukuthi ngabo bo-90s atshayiswe imoto ashone kanjalo, and with no trace ukuthi who did that and all those stuff. So that trauma was something that killed the status of the family itself. Already beseswile, you know, because of some other people that are looking at us, I know that and all the stuff, you know. And that thing then Kulemina, I took Uber breadwinner at a young age, you know, because there's a time I'll just share a story with my other brother. Shuti Suzugana Kanjani. Loko komaziyo lo engihlala naye endlini unosisi wakhe. Yabo so usisi wakhe unabafana about 4. Wow.
There's a part that you actually touched.
Yes.
Before you go back to your maternal side of your family, you know, to your paternal, actually, I mean, you touched, I mean, the dictatorship kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I think, I mean, the viewers at home will be curious about that, which the dictatorship, you know, what was that all about, actually?
Okay, dictatorship, Manzo Ikuluma, it's one of the sad story. Yeah, I don't want to touch the story. That cool, you know, because, yeah.
If you don't feel like, you know, no problem. Yeah, on that note, Bafetu, I mean, we still actually, I mean, urge you guys, you know, to continue, you know, subscribing, like our videos, share, comment, you know, would like actually, I mean, you to continue engaging us. We appreciate what you're doing. We see you, we see the numbers, you know, but, you know, don't forget, you know, to press that notification bell so that whenever we upload something, you know, it's over and go which, you know, we're uploading, you know. So as a belief, guys, you know, please do that, and we appreciate a lot, you know, for your viewership. You know, we see you and we appreciate you a lot. You know, we are doing this because of you guys. You know, you keep us going. Are you ready with this now?
I'm sharp.
Okay.
Presenting Smiley so is something what who should bet into their car and the only nigga that is crying at the moment, you know. Yeah, but yeah. So simply party dictatorship, you know. I don't know why they took a decision to take a step over your Ubabam, but I can't reverse things, you know. It's something that was designed, you know, because I'm a very deep person, spiritually and even physically, you know. So I can't take a decision for myself without scanning it myself. With whatever decision I'm taking, is it going to be a productive decision or not? So, I'm a student though. Yafika la time big shop. Umekriza one was a nurse, you know. Wa retired, then wayenza ukuthi uyenza income ukuthi asithengise amabhiya. So makathengisa amabhiya kanjalo, that's how income ingena endlini bakho kulala abadlile and all those things. So it was a family that had a spirit of hustling, you know. They had a certain pride, I would say, madam, you know, that me myself I didn't even inherit, you know, because I'm a very polite guy, you know. Few people will tell you voice and sound because I have time of jokes, I have time of quiet time, you know, I have time for everything actually, you know, because I'm a spiritual man, so I need to balance my time. So nofia kaboba bami wabumkhulu wami ubhuti we time alam. At that time bekaseseche. You know, at that time you know Makriza, we used to go visit Lamuntu. You know, Elokop. Still remember very well because he a good storyteller and I can't forget something like that. So big Elokop, sometimes we will go with my mom, so visit Elokop. This guy, the woman to give me alright, the reaction as I say and all those things until he came back. Tell me, okay, before we come to the story, let me talk about my accident. Also, I had an accident, even though I would go too deep into it. It affected my scar, So when I had to drop out of school to attend into those treatments, I had several operations, until I'm released and then I can go back to school. Okay, fine. Speed is our siblings. Until one cool, you call it like that. One cool. I'm rich. Say, man, I'm rich. I want to say, try to teach you. I could go low the party because I'm cool. No, the speeder actually sharp speeder really. But there was a difference. So you want reality. Ubawami had unsolved things with this guy. So that thing, they say that they are someone. So this guy, I know he been hating on mommy and all those that. And something that I've seen from my father. So I think that's where the things comes from. The older brother becomes jealous, of my own father and see the time around my cable and the attention and all those things. Yes. There was a jealousy of mix, sort of. So at the time, Baba was in a place called in speak with I'm pronouncing the Italian industry, Banda Maria. And then those light entertainment. And I feel like even my own mom, because they used to do those things together while I'm sitting in my cooking, So that's why I used to get a lecture, from my own grandmother. I love and light, especially I see your mind, you are a person that grabs into quicker, So try to study and so that isn't almost better, you can be able to stand as a man, I will not teach mama, So myself also mama meaning affected because this person is the one in Kulangai. Meaning affected as a maid. Valubuza question, Why yenza into that? You must So mina by birth vela melio, That's why umbona ngathanda ubuyela emuva when I've already started the fight. I'm a Leo. I need to get the results out of my fight. It's either scars or the thing that I'm fighting for, So, no, to stay, you must be a person over my own keep. No must say, hey, Bella, when it's cut in the time I'm in some house in Makoko. But what killed me as a kid at that time is that my father and my mother used to fight. They used to fight a lot. The time I'm sure with them, and that thing being affected, even my schoolwork, because I'm looking why my parents are fighting, Am I the cause? Is this for another day? So, okay, fine. Hey, I'm push again. Okay, from my operation, I knew that I was no longer 100%. Because of they don't want to even speak about that story of how I got to even see myself wake up in the hospital. And the funniest part, they even hide the story from my grandmother, Laura Mama. Because the whole process, yes. Not to go to my mother's because on a so until mina ngi-request uMagriza ngisesibhedlela
Mm.
because I was connected. That's all uMagriza azofayida story.
Mm.
Mara nakhona sebasibeka, you know, indirect and all those stuff. Okay, fine. Ngiyicede primary level yami. Still pushing, okay. Even though I'm no longer 100%, singinokuba nama headaches because of the operation, you know, because they had to. Because I had to go ask her deep. I had to ask her deep about my accident, even though I touched on a bit. But one how the doctor spoke about me, which if Nyabashluba, they're welcome to take me back to the hospital. But funniest part, after I went off the hospital, there's no other things being zuti. I see myself as somebody maybe or on a problem or something, you know. Okay, yes, some is scared. I'm even though we see the situation in women, you know, of we having a dictator, you know. They were abused. You know, that even though I report the woman they get condoned, you know, because I have to be strong. I have to be a man, you know. There's a boss in the house, you know. There's somebody that tells people what to do. So, hey, as the location pila kulo mina, noma ungaya kulo, I'm a friend to everybody, dog. So I have no enemy, mina location now, you know. I have no enemy, and I take abantu engihlala nabo location as all my brothers, you know, because I feel like mangihlala nomuntu, I learn something from him, you know, growing up, you know. Ngizama ukubona ukuthi ngihlanganise impilo kanjani. So, you know, hey, mangisalo ngiphusha esigele bese ngiphusha esigele phushe, okay, finyelele masengiceda i-primary level yami, you know, qale lapho futhi uMagriza naye sekaba umuntu ofuna ukuqala ukecatcha the spirits of dictator, you know, because of whenever into yenzakala kuyo, sometimes absorb it and you are the one doing it now, you know. So uMagriza ngidictating ngesigele kumele ngiyuse, yabona. Mi vele bese ngisayine iform lento lena thuto sekumele ngilisubmit esigela ngangivayisile lena thuto lisedi. uMagriza complete. No, you can't. Ufundile ukushini, no. When they're trying to maybe to show me what they're trying to support me with my school things. But when I've made a decision, it's my own decision, you know. Yeah, sizokufundela isikolo. There's a good school called Rondabelt, you know. Eish. Because mengihleli mfethu ngihleli, you know, under me.
Rondabelt eMakhishini.
Yeah, eMakhishini lapha. Na lesa sikolo lesa, you know, khona sengifundise wona, you know, because I used to hide a lot of what is going at home because of the friends I keep there. You know. Yeah, they were not seeing anything. I was too active. You know, I was too active to even becoming somebody that used to gather people for certain things. Like for instance, there was a teacher that on the belt in Yafika but Miss Chetley. She's Chinese. You know, bekamfundisa English. You know, so what discover my skill, magabheka ama scripts wami we-English, you know. She discovered that I'm a good writer, you know, and she started mentoring me from there. You know, and we both started a drama class from school, you know, and a lot of people joined, you know, and I was the director. I've been directing from school.
So this thing of media actually comes from.
Yeah, it comes from school, but it went when I changed from physics because some of the teachers, they were looking at me as not identify because of my scars, you know. So some of them, they were not even treating me well in their classes. So I had to change the stream, you know, leave the physics side and go to try a new stream. So what hooked me up is a stream, it's a general stream which it had history, and I used to do it in primary. So I got a friend among the class that I'm from the stream of accounting and physics, and then I go a side way to do again into it in the primary, you know. So hlala ninyothemba to Simphiwe yaseKatlehong. And another thing mina bengiskima amajita kakhulu aseKatlehong, yabona. Kakhulu Masluma, Khumalo, yabona. Abanye basethokozo. So it has connected namajita masiqala ukuhlangana vele lokho ka grade 10 was the arts, you know. Because Simphiwe was more into rap and I also did rap. You know, and Simbu also played football, and I also loved football. You know, so me and him connected and became desk mates. You know, from grade 10 until matric. You know, and I respect that nigga, you know, a lot because he was a true friend. You know, they both kind of came from different families. You know, but we took ourselves as brothers. You know. We never look at each and every difference that we had, you know. But yeah, Timon Fiaga Matric, if you get foot and dictatorship building. Yeah, well, if you get a dictatorship, I'm thinking into archiving stuff, going to look into getting a course that will touch into about philosophy, ancient history, and all those stuff. They came my grandma. You know, philosophy, course abafundisi. And by the way, magathi course abafundisi, I remember to which ish when Jamina and I family maybe they are not into these things Christianity, you know. And but ukoko wam vele bekungumuntu osontayo, and umakoko recently went back to church. Kafina ngati she's feeling a bit old. That's why she went back to church. But yeah, I feel like they were isn't according to how they want things to be, you know, and never knowing it's affecting us. Engibuza uMaChris and eMaChris man bengifuna uyo supplementa certain subjects, but angi supplement anyway, you supplement an events. And ngithathe i-maths ngifika e-vets so that ngizokwazi ukuthi mangenza i-philosophy in a structure of astrology, I can be able to know that I'm doing maths at the same time. Because I want to long process that thing. I mean, I'm funa into sothi mawuceda le nto le get work and le nto le. Hey, sengumuntu manje seka caught inside of making a decision. No one wants to pay for philosophy, you know. What can I do? So I went to myself as Crash and Binashut. I like meditating, you know. I went to myself. I went to connect with my other body, you know, to speak to that body in another dimension and ask that body, what can I take, you know? So my body, amongst us meditation, started showing my creative side, you know. You've got other skills that you don't know that you have. Why don't you try this? So, man check out my course and send late to register anything, maybe never and something lower. So I had to go to a college now. Yeah, and I know what I'm crazy on going to write, but when I was supplementing, charting, the mama test which bang asset and all those stuff and try to supplement those things. I want money to have a starting store, fine. Nongisafuna ama college, I go to Rosebank College. So mangithole Rosebank College ngithola ukuthi bathi bafuna ngizoyenza a bit of test. They used to test you in which course will you fit. So my waphuma results wami. Hambi media phambili. Media was number 1. To do go check and number 2 was graphic design. Angibona nama results endlini when it's uMaChris. Ijiwe time lami. Mina ngikhethe media, I want to do media, you know. Time lami media izobhadala the school fees. Community ithatha, and at that time early 2000 ngisadume the Iraq or something la bebholwa khona.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, the Iraq war.
The Twin Towers actually in the way.
Yeah, bekusadume lezo zinto lezi. Iraq is a business in America. So we get grand on that. Bin Laden and all those stuff. So Anyway, time when I'm in the media says and that I'm Puma when they're freelancing to do such things. So I can't allow you to do that. Oh, media down the drain. Number 2 on the list, graphic design. Okay, fine, graphic design ngiyithathe ne. Ngiyithathe graphic design, then things uthola abangani. Bangani abazokhona ukungiunderstandisa some of the things because they were doing some researches about graphic design, you know. So that's why I fell in love with the thing of arts. Graphic design. I remember the other friend of mine spoke maskhuluma nge-hip hop. He also told me must say singakangena emaklasini athi graphic design the way it has power ngakhona. Do you know ukuthi ama-CD cover yenziwa yithi? Usayithuka good cause. Abe ukuthi athina mfethu we do graphics, anything graphics dog, yabona. Yeah, it's a source abona ukuthi careful because I'm artistic somehow of music. Music was one of the passion that I liked a lot because of umalume wami, you know, dramist and sebenza kama theater. So I was connected to the mic at the young age, you know. So I've been about graphics, I have a no music and all those things. I know I'll push my own career. So of course there. Not knowing ukuthi dictatorship isazohamba to an extent ukuthi this guy yabona ngesikole womkhulu. Sekaba nenkinga kumagogo ukuthi lo usibhadala ngani school fees. At that time nami beseligula ngingasasebenzi. Sekayabuza manje uthi lo ilento le imali school fees uyithatha. So umagogo because uyazi bekayithatha imali, you know, used to cover a lot of things, you know, as wenza show ukuthi ngiya esikolweni until azaphela amandla. On my second year. Second year makaphelelwa amandla sakhona ukathenda ngesikila. Uyawuthenga ukuthatha imali because bese kana ama-tax and all those things, you know. Sinokuthola imali. Okay, that's where I made a fall out of graphic design because I had no fees to even finish my school, you know. Because somebody now is limiting money, you know, ukuthi somebody must go esikolweni. Ayibuye into that time amalizondela, yabona. And that's where I got hooked to drugs, you know, because of depression, you know. And that thing, if I didn't had support from some of my family members, I feel like I could have drowned, you know. I could have drowned and without even having a return or coming back to life, you know, because if you are in drugs, you are no longer alive, you know. You are dead. Because at that time, you say, I'm attending to ukuthi West is the gangs that you know. And they didn't abuse, you know, and nothing is happening about it. So I decided to take my time to invest it in the streets, you know, and that's where things started to go, you know, getting into drugs and doing all those things, you know. Mina mangizokutshela ngamla mina abantu abaningi bazokutshela igasa mina isibhawu ngamla like into bengihlala ngina, you know. Into bengihlala nginayo and besiphuma kuphela if mina ngiba nomuntu. And ngifeel ngathi overpower because of maybe I'm fighting a gangster.
So maybe kulinda ngama-trucks.
Sure.
You know, just maybe ukuthi singalahle umukeli ekhaya. You know, ngoba kubona kwamanje vele umuntu oclean and stuff.
Sure.
Nakho lithatha isikhathi singakanani ukuthi uphume kuma-trucks.
Okay, because of prayer, my grandmother had to set me down, you know, and tell me about my visions because that grandmother liked me a lot, and he saw my visions, and he started telling me as well, and he told me, no, let's go to the social workers. I volunteered. I went with my grandmother to the social workers. But the funniest part, my social worker caught the story with the something that is happening and Makreza don't want to even talk about it. Then that's where social worker said, I'm a session one-on-one now. You get the inner story, you know, of what's going on. And I started coughing out, you know. Then the social worker brought back Makreza, said, there's any decision that this guy in the next. Said, I'll keep it. But no, this guy needs. I need him to go to rehab. And after rehab, they will start a new life. You know? And I took that opportunity. I went to House of Mercy. Hey, House of Mercy, we're ngihlala ningabla. Kula. Botaki maybe we see 4 there. And so apart from the staff. Yeah, we get abantu abanama chronic wona lento le umuntu unento nje serious eyenzakala life yakhe like kunje ama drugs are serious. You know, there's a time during I was admitted for 26 days. And I had to prove myself in the 26 days, which am I going to go back to drugs or not? And the funniest part is that the whole thing was paid by the government. The only government that is abusing us now. Government can take you to a rehab and come back and starve you. You know, steal your ideas, take your IPs, you know, and starve you. So I'm going to touch on that, Taseji.
Yeah.
But I spent 26 days. With the 26 days, it was not easy. I'm not a pill guy. Because I depend on weed. You know. And then they knew I'm a Rasta for a long time, but they tried to dictate me on even going to church, even if I don't want to go to the Christian church, you know. I could force myself going there, but I can feel that I'm not there. You know. But I used to adapt, you know, because I used to try and make my family happy, you know. Yeah, so life here, leadership, you know, to an extent which I had to run away from this abuse in 2010, you know, because the same cartel, you know, crazy. At that time, crazy, I mean, I so shift at it.
Okay, before maybe you go even further, yeah, I just want to actually, pass this message, to the guys out there. You know, Gucci, sometimes we can never choose what's actually happening to you, you know, or what comes to you, or what people are going to treat you in life, you know, but let's try and actually find the right solutions in life, you know. Guna counseling, guys, you know, guna bantu kakhuluma nabo, even the stories actually designed, you know, for that. Uguti morning kinga, you know, you can come to our show and offload, you know, whatever that actually you're having inside. Uzuzupodla ngalento nayo. Like haya indoda yakhala isitori sakho esibalekile. Unokuthi bafethu singayidakamisweni and all those kind of things, because it is not all of us abazobuya, you know, idakamisweni. Abanye it can actually take you a lifetime. You know, we addict to what we recover. So it's very important, guys, to actually find counseling njengomtshita. It's very important ukuthi ukhulume namanye abantu, you know, monenkinga, you know, mawumtshita. It's very important ukuthi, you know, ubodle khulume lento nayo ukhale, you know, indoda mafethu iyakhala, indoda umuntu, indoda inemizwa. You know what I'm saying? So that's the message that actually I was trying to actually pass, you know, across to you guys, so that you understand ukuthi inkinga choose. You know, they actually land wherever they want to land, you know, but actually find the right solution to make sure which, you know, you get the right solution. You know, there's counseling and all those kind of things, so we can continue.
Yeah, as I was touching into those amapills, you know, I wanna go back a little bit. You know, weeding talents as a primary. You know, and no one introduced me to weed. I only took my friend. The segas would take snake swap. It's my first do. It's in swap. At times, cover some in I was there at my diary. Shang in the poke. I la poke and come out jail. And I believe the bonus is poem. I want to let them come. I didn't see money. We go shy show do one. Was a bonus poem. We may share the joint. So what that of them? No, we sing no one is school way. No, we sing through the weeks because we sing it. Sometimes because he could be the way I sing the owner of Mukula. So me and Ashlanga is staff a school way. ukuthi at least ikhumbi yasendlini ibe nestaff abantu aba-collector regularly ngapha ziyawa yabona. So mina was the last one to get picked yabona, like mase bazophuma vele yabona. So sometimes ngithola ngime la ama-taxi agibelela ngakhona afike ngene ngiyosneya ngiphathela amajita awo mase sigele ikadezi. And by the way here on the Pete ku street bekunongena i-Germiston district yamabhoti. Yeah, actually bangena nezinja lapha. So we used to emahlathini sifihla into zethu vele yabona, ngebreaks azilanda and all those stuff. Sengikhiphi imfihlo zasesikolweni machita yakena. Yeah, we used to run that town, you know. Umchita and now you know, I was forced to even keep myself in Christianity, you know, because they say it was also installed in Lina by Funi Rastafari, you know. But into benonisa nge-Rastafarian is that never used to shave my hair, you know. Bengamele uzibambatha. Mina ninja yami usimpiwe vele. Ba basibiza ubambatha vele. So to sizibambatha, you know. And not abanye abantu bebangazi ukuthi at the other time nje bangafuni continue, I'm hiding my operation because mangikunda ebusika ubusika bekunokuwa ne snow, you know. So mangahlalwa into ebandayo on my skull, that's the end of me, you know, for me to sleep, because I'll have sleepless night. My headaches will figure so ngishe. Then I never used to like amapilisi. So I used to depend on weed as my drug of use, as they are calling it a drug, but to me it's not a drug. When I went deep and researched about weed, I got a surprise, you know. It's a lot of us are getting brainwashed, you know, because of people wants to dictate you and tell you how you need to live your life, and they paint a certain thing wrong because they want to promote Western medicines, you know. So me, I don't like Western medicines. I'm sorry, you know, even there's pharmaceutical companies from America that are putting a lot of medical in South Africa. Me, I'm not a fan of their medicine, you know, because I don't understand. I didn't even vaccine. I even told my friend if I can get work from government during COVID, I won't vaccine. They can rather take their work, you know, because I believe in my body as the temple of the Almighty, you know, because I don't want to call him with certain names because, you know, other names are not aligned to our traditions, you know. Me, the God that I know in Sesotho, Kimurimo, you know. In Setswana, Kiramasedi, you know. So this Western translation that they came up of trying to brainwash us, you know, and for us to forget our religions. No. What I recently discovered, you know, is that the original Bible is only archived in Ethiopia, you know. The whole thing that all these people are reading is a fake translation that has their own writing within, you know. So I'm sorry for people because we are getting close to Good Friday, you know, and people are going to go, you know, scream their voices out for the God that they don't know, you know.
Okay. Mabudeme, you know, ngoba sathi masingena kwi-introduction vele wagijima nge-story. I didn't actually get the chance to ask you ukuthi bakhona ama-siblings kwenzakalani.
Yeah.
You know, unawo amanye ama-siblings actually.
Olindami is 2. You know, mina uthilandela mina bathu Thabiso. Force ntona yami yabona because I want him to be my clone, like as clone mina, so that he knows the ways of this industry, you know, because if you want to survive, you must know the corners, you know. So I want him to clone whatever he sees from me, clone it into his own lifestyle, and then, you know, probably might get something out of it, because I shoot and I feel him trying to introduce him to this industry, and then it did well because we were shooting in Johannesburg, and I was showing him how to understand continuity, you know, because in films continuity is very important, you know. You can't do to shake kanje ibheke phambili, and then in the next take the caps ibheke move. I want you already problem with continuity, but you wanna explain what you want from piece or two. Already the continuity is broken, So yeah. And then from my father's side, and Randela was too, Yeah, and they are dear to my heart, because when I'm gonna take my story going forward and explain after the abuses, because this guy was uncontrollable, to explain Nobuti, even as a case And I developed certain habits because I wanted to run away from this reality, and try to do something and I'm messing my life, because of him, Akulu, because I remember some of the things, when I was still studying. Let's get, I think in Jong Cheruti, I had a mentor who was immediately from school, drama class and all those things. And then most of the time I had a study schedule, Mina being study schedule student because my brain, as I told you, which I had skull operation, used to function in its own way, So we decided to make a schedule and say, no, I mean, my vibe, I'm not your disc, Washington zakho zesgela uvaye udlala idiski then mawubuya yabona thola ukudla kushaphu makuphekile umagreza ayithola lento leya splash angibuye ediskini ngena kuma picture yabona hlala lelo awanyana kufikela lezo itori lezo yabo and then after that I go to sleep straight and after that ngiyazi ukuthi umagreza uzumfusa ngama 2 o'clock futhi hey buka isikhathi sakho sokustudy yabona study. So during my study time, I'm a creative, I'm a writer, I used to take breaks, which I think if my subjects as well, I've covered my weakest subjects, and then let me give my spare time to writing, because when you move on a lot too low, obviously the study team be on 5 o'clock. After that, probably avanzi I want those amzlungile, I breakfast, this caffeine. Phuma elinyana yabona ngiyozama ukuyedole uthole transport ukuthini ndule inyesescale. So it was my algorithm, my daily routine, that I used to do, So my sisters are dear to explain ukuthi I don't want to talk about their own experience, I want to talk my story because it's connected to the show itself. Why am I crying, because there's a lot of things before you khuluma ngabanye abantu and all those stuff. I must start with my personal life so that people see my background, with where am I coming from, and I took some other habits, to myself, not even direct, it was something that was pushing me, these things will lie, I won't have those pains, I won't think a lot. Operation, this was into that stress, So to an extent, they thought my life is a good life, But babona life yasendlini iyaflesha kunamakhumbi, they told her into there. Not knowing how are we living inside there, Some of them that are close to us used to witness some other things, I won't mention people's name because, I don't want to discredit them, So, as in though, I taught myself to handle them, There was a time, earlier when I spoke about Christianity, church, I couldn't live my life, I couldn't attend certain events. Me, I'm a creative, but you want to be DJ Vibe at that time. Parents will have it. Okay, I have metric. I've tried to achieve certain things that other people can't achieve, So why don't you give me my freedom? So being life until after graphic design, we see I'm gonna trade using graphic design, even though I didn't have time to holistic physically, and due to some other reasons, and I'm going straight to this thing because I want to highlight this thing this episode as an episode that is going to educate people. My story is not something that you can listen to and then don't feel something. Maybe somebody that has my own experience will learn from this story, and they will try to maneuver their life, using my experiences. So after that, I told my grandmother that I want to take time. I'm not okay about this abuse. It was 2010 during World Cup. We went to a church. That church was there's a school called Isipho Sethu, Lentoli Marimba. Saye nguvakasha la masifika la bese ngizambela ngikhaphe achoose ngikhona you tell me bathi ubongani ngikhaphe yona tha into ngikhaphe medium i-church endawo lesosila masifika la. Okay, we got used to the church. Kuyenzakala ukuthi uzonilela umuntu ozohamba nechoir. I Edebe, and I took that opportunity. Said, yeah, this is my escape route. Running away from this whole thing, It was a trip that was going to last about a month, But that trip ended up lasting for about 3 years, Came as figure that church, never knowing the famous pastor, at that time, and I don't want to go deep into his story because there's a lot behind his name, And but I wanna show how can I put it? I wanna show how grateful I am for sometimes meeting him because probably I'll be having a problem or not even being alive, So I learned a lot from him, because he's also a musician. And the funniest part, during that session, I used to write for the choir, as I told you that I was connected to music and writing. Yeah. So that's how I connected to him, and then he gave me an opportunity, asked me what I can do also, I told him that I can do graphics, He said, I know, you will join the team. And then he saw my graphics, and he was impressed. And I said, good, there's a graphic team, there's a guy that is doing websites there, So they will be your friend. Not knowing that I'll be promoted to the media team. Why don't that December, promoted on the media team, he wants to teach me a new skill. I'll be working with cameras, There's a guy that came, from UK to come and enhance the skill for the media team, That's where I started getting deep with him, and took him as one of my mentors in this thing, because I wanted to have his own standard of shooting, and the creativity. And he also introduced me to also other graphic softwares, So I'm grateful to even, met people like that, As one of the Nigerian guys, Me, I'm an African that doesn't discriminate any skin, but I'm trying to understand my culture, and know that if as black as we are and we fight amongst each other, one went wrong, So I'm trying to understand that what went wrong. This brainwash is the one that makes us to look at our cultures and make differences out of it, So those are the things that we need to change, in the system, because if there's no one that volunteers that I want to break the system, I'm the only one today that wants to break the system, because to be quiet while you're holding a wound, it's a very dangerous thing. You might not wake up. So I learned something from Christianity, as I say. I met a pastor that took care of me. Then I ended up traveled with him all over South Africa, 2012. And then when 2013 came, I got a call from home, they told me, Ish, your grandmother is not feeling well. At that moment, I had to make a decision of continuing working or coming back home, And that decision was one of the best decisions that I've made. You know, because when I left Durban, I got a call from UK, General Secretary of the Church. They told me that you left, you know, like, yeah, try to explain the story, you know. So it was not something that I was planning, you know, to.
So the church had a branch in UK as well.
Yes.
Okay, that's so big.
So I learned a lot from the church, you know, because I was trying to run away, knowing very well my roots speak differently, you know, the colors. Even I understood when they showed me, you know, in another dimension through dreams, you know, that you belong to the colors, you know, understand Christianity from these colors, you know, and don't compromise, speak it the way it is, you know. Whenever you acquire something and you feel like other people need to know, you know, don't be silent, speak about it. So that's why I try to understand and connect everything with this 3 stripes, you know. That it's not just something that I decided to take as for fun or recreational, you know. It's something that it came with my other bodies and other dimensions, you know, to notify me that, hey, man, and I'm going to that connection of how I connected to the elders, you know, for them to guide me, you know. And there were specific elders that I'll touch, you know. Okay, after I came back from Durban, fine, I'm trying, I got a job as an assistant teacher in Summit Park, you know. That's where I met brilliant students, you know, that got my influence to media. And they liked the environment and the industry itself, you know. So that's where I saw that, you know, people are claiming that apartheid is 94, what. Apartheid is still there, you know. It's in these institutions that people don't want to speak about, you know. And the funniest part, the institution I'm talking about is schools, you know. And that's where you see a lot of corruptions, you know. And there's a campaign that I wanted to do with some of my friends of artists, that we want to bring arts in schools, you know. I even proposed it to the government, that thing. But the problem is that government is an institution that doesn't care about its own citizens, you know, because you can propose something, they won't give you an acknowledgement letter that you have sent something to their department, and they won't tell you that why you're not going to be funded. But you see maybe 6 months or 1 year down the line, you see the similar idea that you've proposed to them working somewhere else, you know. And especially for me, it happened a lot, you know. For my side, it happened a lot. So fast forwarding that, leadership, this gatekeeping arts and culture was come to an end, you know, because there was a time in the industry when we were fighting for 90%, and then people that were sabotaging that project, you know. So I see that these gatekeepers, if we don't speak, they won't stop what they are doing. And I wanna be clear to people that I made peace with myself. That as I'm speaking like this, if other people are offended by what I'm speaking and decide to erase me full time in the system, I'm not even afraid, because I've made peace with myself. But I'm not saying Inkabi, but you are eraser from the system. I don't care about them. The only thing that they don't know, which their evidence, is all over. Whenever I die, somebody will start my story from scratch, you know, because I've made that and I've made peace with myself, you know. So, arts and culture, in that process, I won a competition. When I win a competition, they say it's Silapa 360 Stride Health project. You know, I feel like arts and culture is not going straight with us, because at the moment, after I'm the one that won the competition, our minister, Keith McKenzie, decided to close the program. After I started asking questions on their emails, I still got full, right? You know, I asked the office of Katie McKenzie about this situation, that I don't need therapy, I need equipment.
Mm.
You know, I went straight to them that I can do therapy for myself, you know, because I've taught myself to move on, you know. So I need equipment. Why don't they cancel this whole therapy thing and give me that money to go buy equipment and push my feelings? After that email, he started to cancel that. He made a media statement that I'm canceling this 360 Strive health or project. What they did, to see that there's a lot of corruption there, what they did, they only published my name in their Facebook page. And TikTok, I'm not sure about TikTok, Instagram. And if you can go and look for that publishing, you can't get it now. Because they are trying to close something, you know, things that they are owing me as a winner, you know. So I'm going to take this opportunity, and I'm not going to fight anything, you know. I'm going to ask questions and I need answers, you know. And I don't want to even talk about these boys that I was mentoring, among that the guitar boys. They tried to sabotage that project and use those boys for their own benefits. So arts and culture, it's an institution that employs people that don't have knowledge of arts, and they run our deals. What I'm gonna say, I'm saying I need answers, you know, from arts and culture. Why artists are getting exploited, and there's nothing done with that. If we don't get answers, we're gonna publish this recording with their directors and the media institution, for the media to hear that for themselves that we've got corrupt officials, and they never knew that I'm recording them. They made that they are recording us so that they know that they can record and delete that without us getting the backup. I made the backup, and I sent them the backup to them. And I told them that you thought I was not recording. I'm a journalist. I saw your actions before you even do anything. So I had to do myself a backup so that I can do that. But I'm no longer there because I need the resolutions, you know. I'm tired of fighting arts and culture. For them not to fund us, it's our right. We are the one practicing these crafts, and they are making money out of us.
So, like in closing, maybe, you know, and then we're still urging other people with my story. Either maybe you want to pour yourself out there, or either maybe you want to inform, or you want to educate people, or maybe ufuna usizo njengomjita yegela ukuthatha mhlambe ama decision wrong, ugcine mhlambe wenza ama tracks whatsoever. Na i-platform, and we still working actually nama social workers who can help you ukuthi at least nje ukuthi in a good way. So come to us in the Diakala, so we publish stories. And to those who continue watching our stories, our episodes, we appreciate you. We still ask you, Uruchi, go there, watch more of our episodes, subscribe, like, comment, share, and press that notification bell, guys. We see the numbers there, but actually the subscription is going very slow. Please do subscribe, it's for free. And then from me and the rest of the team in the Diakala, up until next time, we love you guys. We sign out. Thank you.